Hey, mister! Was it a shark that bit you in the arm? I looked down at this probably 8-year-old boy, and then I looked over at my 3 children sitting on the beach, filling their buckets with sand. They all smiled back at me, knowing exactly what I'd say next. And I smirked at them, and I turned back to this little boy and I said, yeah, it was a shark. And before I could even finish my sentence, that little boy was darting down the beach towards a gaggle of other little kids in the distance, yelling, yeah, it was a shark! I told you it was a shark! And then I muttered to myself, I said, or it was a semi. So I'm going to paint a picture for you. About 10 years ago, I was a grad student, recently married, and I was a proud new dad of a 3-month-old son. And like most men in their late 20s, I was invincible. It didn't take very much to put drops in my bucket. If I faced a problem, I just put my head down and I grunted through it. And one day that all changed. I was driving my car alone through the Rocky Mountains, and I was coasting down a big hill. And on one side of my car, there was a rock face going straight up, and then the other side, there was a cliff going straight down. And there was a concrete barrier on the side before the cliff. And at the bottom of the hill, I noticed a semi taking the corner wide, and it came face to face with this semi. And naturally, I slowed down. I pulled over as much as I could. I honked my horn. I flashed my lights. I yelled. And at the last second, he swerved back into his own lane. And I never felt so much relief in my life. I thought, I'm saved. I live. And a split second later, I noticed the back end fishtailing. And where the 2 wheels are on the semi-truck, that's what hit my driver's side door. And the box rolled into my vehicle, crushing my shoulder and spinning out my car. When I came to, the car horn was blaring incessantly. The cabin of the car was filled with smoke from the airbags, but I thought the car was on fire. And by instinct alone, I pulled myself out through the driver's side window, and my arm dropped down and out, and I felt a warm gush on my torso. Fast forward, I had the unfortunate privilege of finding myself in the emergency room where I used to work, surrounded by my colleagues in my underwear. And this is where I was super thankful my wife had thrown out all my ratty-looking underwear years ago. And then I had an 8-hour surgery. They put Humpty Dumpty back together. I had like 3 plates, 8 screws, 10 pins. I was on narcotics for 2 months. I don't remember key milestones of my son's development. I had countless hours of rehab. I was no longer invincible. I had to do work to put drops in my bucket. I had to make sure that I was sleeping enough, eating well. I had to make sure that I was exercising regularly and maintaining meaningful relationships with the people I cared about. And so when somebody in my family approaches me and says, hey, do you want to go build a sandcastle? I'm super thankful that I'm here to grab that bucket and fill it with sand. There really is something magical about buckets, isn't there?